In this video, we're going to be talking about Jacksonville, Florida, or Orlando, Florida. I live in Jacksonville, Florida. Been in Jacksonville, Florida for the last 22 plus years. I did live in Central Florida, which was near Orlando, probably about an hour and a half away. So it was pretty much a suburb for us. I lived in the city of Avon Park, Florida, in Highlands County, which is roughly, like I said, about an hour and 15 minutes from Orlando. While living in Avon Park at the time, I was in the hair business, hair products. I cut hair, did men and women's hair. I was a cosmetologist, owned my own beauty salon, hair salon. And so we often traveled to Orlando for a ton of hair shows, beauty shows. Orlando was the city for that. That brings me to my first point. Orlando is the type of city where they're gonna have a lot of events. A lot of businesses host their events at all the many hotels there in Orlando. Orlando has more hotels than any other city in the United States. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about whether to move to Orlando or to Jacksonville. It is the type of city, it's a tourist city, very diverse city with tons of people moving there all the time. And of course, you know, you have Disney World there in Orlando. You have tons of theme parks, tons of tourist spots. It is just that type of city. It's a very fun city. I can remember going to Orlando as a kid, going to Disney World, 6 or 7 years old, year after year, visiting Disney World. Even as an adult, while living in Jacksonville, Florida, I would go to Disney World for different events. The city has a lot of fun things to do. There's plenty to do, plenty of restaurants, plenty of great shopping. You're gonna see a lot of outlet malls, a lot of warehouses, a lot of opportunities, flea markets. They have the Millennial Mall, which is very, very popular, which is an upscale mall. They got tons of malls there, 3, 4, 5, 6 different malls and everything in between. What I would say is if you come from a bigger city, if you're used to a faster paced city, I think Orlando would definitely be the spot for you. Compared to Jacksonville, Florida, Jacksonville, the city limits of Jacksonville, it has more people. We have roughly 900,000 to 1 million people within the city of Duval County. Jacksonville is definitely more spread out. The comparison is definitely night and day. And as I keep moving on, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. Would love to help you out with moving to Jacksonville, Florida. You and the family coming this way, would love to help you, whether Jacksonville, Florida, whether Orlando, Florida, or anywhere in between. We can even go as far as South Florida. So whatever you're interested in, we definitely can help you out. I am a local real estate agent here in the Jacksonville area and would love to help you out. Please stay tuned to the end. I got some great tips for you that would definitely, I feel, help to make your decision. Just moving on here, Jacksonville is definitely more spread out. To me, I've been in Jacksonville 22 years. I think personally, Jacksonville is the type of city, if you're raising a family, you have kids, I think it is ideal. For me, it was more of a city, like I really felt like I could raise my family here, me and my wife, because there wasn't a ton of distractions, if that makes any sense. You know, there was always something going on, but it's not like it was Disney World. It wasn't like it was Islands of Adventure or any other theme park, water park. So we really didn't have a lot of family coming to visit and want to go to different theme parks and do different things. A lot of times family would come, we would visit family from time to time, they would come visit us. But it wasn't like if I had maybe lived in Orlando where there was just so much going on, where people just travel. And not to say they would come visit us, family and friends all the time, but I think it's less distraction. And I think you have to really keep that in mind. Orlando to Jacksonville is only about 2.5 hours difference, depending on how fast you drive. So it's not very far. Folks in Jacksonville go to Orlando on the weekends. They set up trips for their kids in Orlando. It's really just an extension of Jacksonville in a lot of ways. I mean, once you go down the highway there, it's not far at all, man. That 2.5 hours, it just flies by. In certain parts of the Orlando area, when we're dropping our daughter off at UCF at college, it's less than that. It may be an hour and 45 minutes, right at 2 hours. So it's really not that far. And that brings me to UCF, which is a huge college, one of the top colleges in the United States as far as population. really nice college as well. I don't know academically wise how they rate, but I've been very impressed with it thus far. It is a humongous school. They have so many students that the students literally have to live off campus. They're allowed to live on campus the first year, and then after that first year, they're kicking those kids out. So it just goes to show you that there's a lot of rental properties, there's a lot of condos, there's a lot of townhomes there, and there's, like I said, there's a ton of hotels. So it's one of these cities, man, where you're just gonna see hotels everywhere, you're gonna see restaurants everywhere. It is that city, a bustling city, a lot of growth. I think price-wise, if you compare the two, Jacksonville to Orlando probably is about 10 to 15% higher, maybe a little bit more, just because of the location. It is in Central Florida, closer to Miami, it is closer to Tampa. So you have more folks in that kind of area of the state there in Central Florida. It does get you closer to Miami, which is a very, it's a major city, international city. So that's a draw as well. It gives you that vibe of Florida a little bit more, in my opinion. Whereas with Jacksonville is in a lot of ways more laid back. I mean, there's, a lot of growth going on. You do see a lot of changes, but it's not, in my opinion, as fast as Orlando. It is not as popular as Orlando, if you will. I think both cities have their pros and cons as far as their schools, as far as crime. I mean, you hear things, crime is everywhere. I think it's pretty much on the same level. But I think the huge difference is just gonna be your entertainment value. I think if you're in the restaurant industry, if you are, have kids that like to go to theme parks and do a lot of stuff, and you're a type of entertaining type family, you have a lot of family from out of town coming in and out, I think, and you have younger kids, teenagers, I think Orlando's probably the spot. But I mean, to each his own. Everybody's got to choose, what works best for them. I just thank you for, watching this video. I got tons of videos on Jacksonville. I'm going to be giving you more on Orlando, and then I'm going to let my daughter tell you a little bit about her thoughts as a 19-year-old in Orlando. So just moving on to the video, a fun story. My dad, when he and my mom were getting ready to retire, they were thinking about, okay, well, should we go to Orlando, where my youngest son is? This is my dad speaking. Or should we go to Jacksonville, where my other two sons are? Both of them have good healthcare, Orlando and Jacksonville, a lot of hospitals, because where they were living in Highlands County, by it being a smaller city, they wasn't really known for their healthcare. Jacksonville was really the spot he was gonna go. And I think by Orlando being so close and just kind of being familiar, I think Jacksonville was more intriguing for him. And then also he had two of his sons there. So I think sometimes when you're thinking about one of these two cities, I think if you're out of state or you're from another city in Florida, I think the important thing is what are you kind of familiar with? What are you comfortable with? What are you used to? And then are you at that point where you want to change? You want to get away from that? Or do you want to keep that same type of lifestyle? So I think that is key, because these cities are very, very different. They're not, in my opinion, very similar. I mean, it's two really separate parts of Florida, and it takes some getting used to. Like I said, by me being in a smaller city, I had a hair business. It was really kind of small. It wasn't a lot of folks there. Everybody knew everyone. And then I wanted a bigger city because Orlando, again, was sort of like a suburb from where I was living, and I went to Orlando all the time. So I was very, very familiar with Orlando. So Jacksonville, by being 3.5 hours away, the weather was a little cooler. That was more intriguing. And it was and by Jacksonville being a larger city, I had never really experienced Jacksonville that much. So it was more of like, I was wide open. I was still trying to find myself, my career. So Jacksonville was the perfect spot. But for you, who kind of know out there where you're going, where you're at, you really have to look at it. But please feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. We can set up a Zoom call, because I'm helping people when moving to Jacksonville and surrounding areas all the time. If you have any questions or you have any comments or any ideas, anything you want to share in the comment section, please do that. Would love to hear that. would love to help you out when moving to the Jacksonville surrounding areas and even the Orlando area. So check out some of my other videos. Thank you for stay tuned, listening to the videos. And if you have any questions or concerns, definitely hit me up.
Hi, so my name is Alexis. I'm currently a UCF student in Orlando, Florida, and I'm going to be talking about which one I like better, Orlando or Jacksonville. So personally, I would say Jacksonville 100%. And I definitely think that's because, one, there are a lot more people in Jacksonville. Two, it's more of a hometown, like southern feel. And three, I would say definitely like we have the beaches. It's not so much of a tourist city, whereas Orlando, it's more of like you have Disney World, you have all the foods, you have like the Orlando Magic going on. You have like, I think so many different things going on. So if you kind of like that like touristy vibe, you enjoy going to the parks, you enjoy different things like that, I would definitely say Orlando is the spot for you. It is a very big college town, so near UCF, all you see is college kids, all of that. And I definitely say if you kind of like those vibes, you like the different types of foods, to see like different sort of in a way, I would definitely say Orlando is a place. But for me, I would definitely say I love Jacksonville. It's way more like relaxing to be in. Although I would say the crime is way higher in Jacksonville than it is in Orlando. And I would say that has to do with the amount of people. Like here, it's more like 280,000 people. There, it's close to 1 million. So you see the difference in like the population density. I mean, me personally, I would say Jacksonville. And obviously the market is getting a little better now. Well, the market is hot now. So Jacksonville, you know, they're building a lot of new construction over there, especially like just all around. There's new construction everywhere these days. So finding a house is hard still, but there's new places always being built. So yeah, personally, I would say Jacksonville. Thank you.
Again, give me a call, shoot me a text. I just love helping people when moving to the Jacksonville area. Days, nights, weekends, it doesn't even matter, because I got your back when moving to Jacksonville, Florida. Talk to you soon.